What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp here for the Fightful.com podcast, August 21st edition, technically the second one we've done today, brought to you by draftbeast.com and on it. Go to draftbeast.com for the most fun you will have playing fantasy sports, my friends. You can play their goon games where you select the most penalized players. That's going to be handy this football season. And games where you intentionally try to pick the worst team possible. Much harder than it sounds, that I assure you. I can't wait to dominate you fools. I'll have a lot more fun than I did in the main event of this show. Also, for On It, go to our podcast page, Fightful.com/podcast. Any of our podcast links, open those up. You'll see the On It link. You click. Get yourself some good deals and support the Fightful.com podcast. We are here talking SummerSlam 2016 tonight. I am joined by Alex Pawlowski of Fightful.com, who actually covered the event for us. Alex, you're live. You went through 6 hours of coverage of the event, and now you're here for an hour.
7 hours in total.
What's life like for you right now?
It's tiring. That's a lot more wrestling than is necessary to go through all at once. But I love it.
There are worse ways to
spend 6
earn
hours.
A paycheck.
Yeah.
Right. And much worse things you could have been doing for sure. So this show was really hit or miss. And when I say really hit or miss, I mean like in some of the matches alone, like those matches were really hit or miss, like within the ropes, not to mention from a match to match basis. And there were so many matches, you had to know it was going to be that way. It's just, this show did not need 13 matches. This show did not need 6 hours. This show did not need a lot of the things in which we got. Now, what happens after this event, that remains to be seen. What I know is Sasha Banks has been pulled from the road. Some people are saying it's an injury. Other people are speculating that it's a wellness violation. I haven't even anybody that would know yet, because obviously they were working SummerSlam, so nobody's going to get back to me on that. Lots of question marks surrounding this show, a lot of them. We'll go ahead and get it started, Alex, because there's plenty to get to. Plenty to get to. For those of you, by the way, first-time viewers of the show, maybe watching on YouTube, visit us at Fightful.com. We have MMA coverage, pro wrestling coverage, boxing coverage, everything from Olympic boxing to Olympic wrestling. I'm doing a feature on some of the MMA and WWE prospects coming from the Olympics to WWE, Bellator, UFC, TNA, backstage news under our exclusive sections. We have stuff from Vince Russo. He writes for us 3 times a week, does a podcast with us on Thursday afternoon. Showdown Joe, who was the 2009 World MMA Journalist of the Year nominee, does a show with me Wednesday nights as well as post-UFC. He also does 2 columns a week. We have Brandon Howard, who you've heard mentioned in the Wrestling Observer. You've heard tons of people cite him for his financial analysis. We have him exclusively. We have the man that you see on this podcast with me, Alexander Pawlowski, who does the best recaps in pro wrestling, in my opinion. Also, I once had him write about a man outboxing a bear. So that's the type of stuff you're going to get at Fightful.com. We had last week Justin Golightly do the comprehensive history of touch butt in the park. Yeah, it happened, and it happened at Fightful.com. Those of you, some of you may remember me from other websites. Some of you may be finding me. I do 4 to 5, well, sometimes 4 to 6 podcasts a week here on Fightful.com. Facebook, Twitter, everything like that. Also, sign up for Fightful.com, absolutely free, no credit card needed, anything of that nature. You get access to our forums, early access to our podcasts, our backstage news, all types of good stuff. Like, just for instance, go click MMA or Wrestling, our tab on Fightful.com, and click that exclusives button and see all the stuff that we have had up there ahead of time, before you may have read it on other websites. Tons of stuff. Hot diggity damn. Now that I have that out of the way, I got to say, I'm trying to think of a way to eloquently put this, Alex. 6 hours is too long.
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
I've wholeheartedly
and concurrently agree.
I've talked to Showdown Joe about this regarding UFC events previously. It's like Major League Baseball and the NFL are trying to find a way to shorten their games, but WWE and the UFC are like, how can we stretch this shit out? How can we make this last longer? I'll tell you what, I would rather bathe my eyeballs in Lysol than sit through 6 straight hours of MMA or wrestling, and I love both of them. But it's too much. It's really too much. We kicked off the show, a 12-man tag, a rematch that had to happen, in my opinion, because it just wasn't enough that we got it on SmackDown, Alex. I needed to know which team was really better. Did this answer it? Well, I should probably go through who was actually in the match.
Yeah.
The Usos and the Hype Bros against Breezango, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains. Now, I mean, this is like some super mules of teams than American Alpha. The Usos got the pin off of the Grand Amplitude. They blind tagged, stole the pin a bit. They teased the dissension there. I think that was the right move, Alex. Where do you see this going? And do you see the Usos turning heel out of this?
I don't know. I mean, the thing about the Usos is that the kids love them. So it's really hard to for I think WWE to pull the trigger on a team like that because you're losing merch sales because the kids don't want to buy bad guys gear. But maybe you're getting the merch sales from somebody who would say, okay, I would go with Evil Usos. Maybe I'll rock a face paint shirt when it's not in like, bright orange and blue, give you something else to it. But I mean, I don't know. I thought that what we saw on SmackDown was enough and, we could move on unless they were actually going to do the full heel turn of one of the teams on pay-per-view. It didn't matter enough to have this whole thing. I like the bit of dissension, but it seems to me like it's a slow burn, and I just don't know how much patience everybody has to like. Will the Usos turn heel this week or not? Tune in to find out.
Yeah.
It's like not a reason to get people's eyeballs on the product.
The Usos, and the thing is, I don't see why you can't. I mean, kids can like another team. They can like American Alpha. But also you can't have American Alpha coming across as insecure, like baby jackasses either. Like, oh no, you took my pin. And that's WWE's problem with baby faces. Nobody sympathizes with a crybaby. They got the win. So American Alpha, one of which was an Olympian, should be like, hey, cool, we got the win. Yeah, good. And maybe have the Usos snicker behind their backs. If you're trying to get sympathy on American Alpha, then do something to get to do that. It was weird. Either way, they got the win. Every other team was pretty much buried. They tried to do that spot at the end. You know how they do with the rapid fire finish. But sadly, the guys that were trying to do it couldn't pull it off at first. It started slow, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Then it picked up. But yeah, American Alpha, the Usos, and the Hype Bros. So far, Mojo Rawley undefeated on WWE pay-per-view.
That's
Alex.
That's correct. That's a big step.
Also, you could put him at 2-0 if we're going by like, you remember how Sid had his streak in WCW?
Yeah.
Well, Rusev backed down from him. So to me, under Sid rules, he's 2-0.
Totally counts.
It counts. Yeah, like Sid's rules were if you looked at somebody and they didn't come at you, that's a win. That's how it is. Yes, I like the Kelly Kapowski GIF you added to that as well. Sami Zayn and Neville versus the Dudley Boys. More miscommunication leads to the Dudley Boys losing. There's a couple reasons I like this. Sami Zayn and Neville are probably going to be in that cruiserweight division. This is putting them over for that. But I want to know from you, Alex, where do you think this Dudley Boys situation is going?
Well, I don't know, but if they weren't going to do it now, when you got all the eyes on it, I mean, it seems like the time to do it. And it was also 50-50 booking. Like the last couple of times, it's been Devon that screwed up and cost him the match. So now let's have Bubba screw up and cost him the match, which doesn't tell the same story. because if it's Bubba who's going to turn heel, then like just a breakup that does nothing. You have to have one guy turn heel on the other. And if they're just like, man, I hate you too. I don't know what that gets you. It gets you a lot of matches on Superstars, but it's not compelling enough to like drive that forward. I mean, I would have loved to have seen the Dudley Boys doing what they've been doing as heels on SmackDown, where they could be used correctly as gatekeepers for Alpha to try and get toward those titles. But right now, it's just like they're treading water. And I like Sammy and Neville together. I think that's a good. They work really good together. And yeah, they're probably going to be anchoring the tag division. I mean, if Neville's not doing it, I don't know what you're doing with him. Sami Zayn is better than that. He should be in main event level matches. But Neville needs to be your anchor on that division for the foreseeable future, in my opinion.
Like I said, I like this because it puts over that cruiserweight division that they're about to have. The Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon thing, I think it's good that they're both costing each other this. I don't know if it'll lead to maybe an accelerated run for them or a split, but if they split, we've seen that Devon does not fare well. Bubba Ray could probably fare a little bit better, but I don't think they'll go full on like they did in TNA with him. So that's worrisome. I've got a lot of takes for stuff like this. Oh yeah, by the way, 50-50 booking. As Triple H said, he said, and I quote, "That's just a term somebody came up with," which is how terms are often created.
Yeah, Shakespeare came up with a lot of terms, you know?
Yes, he did.
A lot of them, hundreds of thousands of them. But it's just a term somebody came up with.
It's just a thing. It's just a term. The word term is a term that somebody came up with. So there you go. I mean, you'll have that. Sure. Sami Zayn and Neville got the win off of the miscommunication, of course. Cesaro versus Sheamus. These two guys beat the living shit out of each other. Man, this is one of the better matches on the show, I thought. This was really good, and that was never in doubt. I didn't ever doubt that these two could have good matches. I doubted that people would care about them. Cool. If they can keep doing this, whatever. I could think of worse ways to spend that time on television that they're going to be giving this on Raw over the next several weeks. Because I would imagine they're going to have a match every single week, and then the 7th will probably be at that Indianapolis show. Is it Clash of Champions? Yeah. But two guys that worked really hard, like I said, beat the shit out of each other, brutalized each other. Your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. That there was never a doubt they were going to put on a great match and a series of great matches. And the doubt is anybody going to care? I mean, this to me seems like a great segment for a lot of the Raw audience to switch over to ESPN and watch Monday Night Football. Like that's going to be one of your less rated pieces, especially if you know. Oh, they're going to do this match again. This is the 4th one. I've seen the first 3. It'll probably have a lot of the same stuff in it. I'll go check out the score of Jags Ravens or whatever's on. So I don't know how into it I'm going to be in like match number 5. And I like these two guys. I think they put on good matches. So we'll see. I mean, it has to come down to 3-3 with a deciding 7th match. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I agree. The match was great.
Do you think that that Mick Foley will like give anything to the winner of this? Because the whole thing had been, well, it's somebody who impressed me. Somebody who impressed me was going to get a U.S. title shot. Well, we saw that, and it didn't go Cesaro's way. You think he rewards the winner of this with anything at all? Well,
if last night's reveal was CWC winner's prize is anything, they'll probably get a big old trophy made by the Chopper guys. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing either one of these guys get a title shot. Especially if you've built them to a point where they've earned these wins in this series of matches. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them get a shot at either the U.S. or even the Universal title.
Yeah, I think that would be good for Raw. Like, I mean, even if it's Sheamus, or you know what, if Cesaro won and they did Finn Balor versus Cesaro on a Raw as like a main event, and they tore the house down, that would be something that, you could really put over hard. There's so many things, so many comparisons I have to make on this show as well. A main card began, Enzo and Cass. Remember when Enzo and Cass were not booked in Brooklyn last year for some dumbass reason that I can't remember? Actually, there probably wasn't a dumbass reason. There was probably no reason at all, because the Vaudevillains won the damn tag titles for no reason when Enzo and Cass should have done that. And they were super over here. They came out singing or reciting lines from Notorious B.I.G. They know what's up. They know what's up. This match was what you would expect from Jericho and Owens against Enzo and Cass. Jericho and Owens, by the way, fantastic together, these two, Alex.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw on the kickoff show, there was an interview they did with Phillips where they said, we're really sorry.
No, just Philip. Just Philip.
Phillips. Because we didn't realize we've been calling you the wrong name this whole time. We're really sorry, Philip. So Phil, let me tell you what we're going to do tonight. It was great, and they're really good together. I was kind of anticipating them to lose and for the team to like blow up and them to turn on each other. But it looks like we're getting more months of Jericho and Owens together, which I have no problem with because they're fantastic together. But it was a lot of what you'd expect from a match like this. Enzo in peril, hitting some crazy comeback, his jumping DDT, or as now they call it the DDG.
Yeah, that's a beautiful move for a guy who's very limited in the ring. There are some moves that he does that look really effortless, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, he's got some really cool stuff. I mean, 80% of his offense is being thrown at his opponent by his teammate, which is fine with me because it looks great. But he also does this amazing, like super fast running crossbody that looks like it's just like dents the other guy's sternum. And he does this DDG thing. But what I love about him is that nobody plays face in peril like Enzo Amore. Like he is really selling all that. And he tries so hard to make that tag and all that kind of stuff. He really gets to a point where when Cass gets the hot tag, the audience is ready to jump out of their seats.
Yeah, they perfected that. And Big Cass has one of the better hot tags, period. I used to think Titus O'Neil had a really good one. I think that Big Cass just blows it out of the water. Also, Jason Jordan has a good one, which, that's different brands. So you got the respective kings of the hot tag on each brand. Also, Enzo taking that awesome finish that Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens have. It's a pop-up code breaker. But generally when you take a code breaker, you don't leave your feet. You just kind of bend down and Jericho takes a back bump. And then you fall over. This, Enzo got launched in the air, then came face down, face first, like flat, horizontally, and just ate knee and canvas. And Michael Cole, for some reason, said, he barely got any of it, but it's enough. And I'm like, no, don't say that. Don't say that. That looked brutal. He looked like he died. Just because it's not the way it was supposed to happen doesn't mean it didn't look good. But, man, that was intense. I love that finish, though.
Me too. I really did. I thought that Enzo looked like he caught it in a really bad way, at a really bad angle, and I was scared for him. I couldn't figure out exactly what had happened until I saw the replay, and then I was like, oh no, not him, not in that way, because he's got if he's got a history of concussions after after a year or so, who knows what they're going to do with the poor guy.
Yeah, that makes me. That worries me because I don't want him to get the reputation of being injury prone. Definitely don't want that. Next up, by the way, yeah, Jericho and Owens won. That's it's a good win for them. I don't know if they're going to be a full-time tag team or what's going on here, but they are fantastic together. I love them together. I think that they make for good segments backstage. They make for good segments in the ring. And eventually, if they feud, I don't think their matches will necessarily light the world on fire, but I think that they can more than hold their own in a program together. By the way, guys, we're going to be answering your questions. Share this page if you all wouldn't mind. Subscribe to our YouTube page. The button is right down there. We have a lot of people asking about iTunes. That's coming soon, but you can subscribe to our RSS feed. Just go to any of our podcast pages on Fightful.com, and I do have the RSS link up there. Also, we have streaming audio and direct download. So you do have ways to listen to this via audio if you're not a YouTube person. But yeah, definitely check that out. Fightful.com is the place to be, but share this on Twitter. Let people know this podcast is happening right now. We're still a very new site, started just under 2 months ago. Haven't even started marketing yet. But yeah, we're very new. I'm very happy, though. Our Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor viewing party had double the comments of the top 4 visited wrestling news sites in the world combined, y'all. I'm pretty proud of that. Our other ones are coming together. Yeah, every Monday night for Raw, Tuesday for SmackDown, Wednesday for the CWC, Lucha Underground, NXT, Thursday for TNA. Your UFC shows, WWE pay-per-views, we have live viewing parties that will be that you all can partake in. Lots of fun, those things. We have them on the Discuss forums that you are familiar with from other big wrestling sites, MMA sites. So definitely come check that out and let other people know about it. You can tag the people that you know from those Discuss forums and bring them here. Let them know what's up. So backstage, Jon Stewart is talking to Stephanie, Shane, Mick Foley, and the New Day. And he makes light of the fact that he interfered in last year's SummerSlam match. I kind of like that. They were teasing a segment with Jon Stewart and the New Day, which we will get to. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Now, there were a lot of rumors due to this match that Sasha Banks either is hurt or is being suspended due to wellness violation. I have not heard either way what's going on. What I do know, and has been confirmed to me, is that Sasha Banks is pulled off the road for the next 32 days, and she is set to return the Friday before the next Raw pay-per-view. Charlotte won this match, and Charlotte was working very stiff. I'll say one thing. If it was the Queen of Strong Style, Nikki Haru Belasawa, shit would not have went so smoothly for Charlotte, Alex.
No. I was watching.
Not with the ghost of Misawa smiling down on her.
Right, of course. Yes. As she's been blessed by Misawa and his strong style capabilities. But
did you say strong stale? Is that a shot at Nikki? How
it
how
may
dare you?
very well have been accidentally. Slip of the tongue.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charlotte did this thing where she was standing on the turnbuckles carrying Sasha like a baby, and then just dropped her. And like her legs went across the top rope, and she landed right on top of her head.
It was like a crooked ass, badass, nasty ass, split-legged moonsault that wasn't supposed to be like that. Like it was supposed to be a backbreaker or a side slam or something. I don't know, but Sasha Banks is very lucky to be walking right now. And Charlotte screwed up several times in this match. Several times. And Sasha Banks did very well in that she made this I thought a pretty damn good match. A pretty damn good match given the shortcomings that she experienced out of Charlotte in this match. Now, usually I'm defending Charlotte in this because I think she's pretty damn good. I think she's still learning, like on the job type of thing, because she's not the most experienced girl in the world. She's really not. But
I think we take it for granted that she must be, because her dad is Ric Flair, and we forget that she hasn't been doing it for like 10 years or something.
This wasn't her dream. This was her brother's dream.
Exactly. And yeah, she screwed up a few times, but like there was some stuff that looked worse. I think like in my mind, because I had already seen that first terrible bump that Sasha took. So every bump that she took after that looked worse than it probably was, but there was still some really bad stiff stuff that she was taking, and but she fought back in like crazy ways. Like that double knees to the outside was
beautiful,
so good. And I mean, I loved the finish. I loved the finish.
Yeah.
No one takes the bank statement like Charlotte. She bends her whole back completely backwards, so she was able to use the momentum to roll over into that pinning predicament and completely pin Sasha where she couldn't kick out. It was great.
There was an awesome thing where the bank statement didn't work. Charlotte goes for the natural selection, but it gets turned into a bank statement. That was beautiful. That was magnificent. I really liked that. We had a razor's edge from the second rope that got turned into a Hurricane Rana, and Sasha was like this close to having an NXT TakeOver Brooklyn moment where she got spiked then too.
Yeah.
Charlotte and Sasha Banks, I think, are both very, for all that, you'll have those people that are like, who has WWE's Performance Center ever produced? Blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind, it's only been open for 3 years. I don't know what kind of world-class wrestlers you want in 3 years. Charlotte came from there. She is a product of the Performance Center. She was not, she was not born into wrestling. I mean, she was born into wrestling, but she wasn't going to be a wrestler. She had no desire to be a wrestler. So, that's just, she signed in, I think, May of 2012, and then she had her first match in July of 2013. So she is a product of the Performance Center. And for a girl that a lot of people usually by age 26 if you're getting into wrestling or not. She wasn't getting into wrestling. She didn't want to get into wrestling. Then unfortunately, when it really kicked it in high gear. She had already been signed before that, but I think that she does very well given her experience level, but tonight was rough for her, but they still managed to get a really good match out of it. I liked it, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's a cool thing to everyone was kind of going into this thinking, well, they just had that amazing match where Sasha won on Raw a few weeks ago. How are they going to top that? Because everyone thought that it was going to have the same ending, basically. But when you change
they'll have Sasha die on pay-per-view.
Well, if the ending was going to be that Charlotte won, you don't have to worry about trying to top it because it'll be something completely different. So I'm interested to see now if Sasha is off for a month, regardless of the reason, who steps up and challenges Charlotte now.
You'll get some fun little nuggets out of Alex once in a while because he is a theater guy and he understands it. You really do. It's something that's very underrated for people who cover wrestling, in my opinion.
Thank you.
We had a kick-ass segment backstage where AJ Styles is talking about pee with Gallows and Anderson. They're just sitting back there scoping out some piss. Normal dude stuff, just what us dudes do when we hang out. We just
a couple of guys with jars full of Mountain Dew and hard-boiled eggs.
And piss. Lots of piss, man. Just comparing that piss. Hey, look at this piss. This is nice piss. Okay, so one funny thing I noticed is, did you notice the sample sizes?
Yes.
Like Big E's was the big jug of piss, yeah. Kofi's was the medium jug of piss, and then Xavier's was the small jug of piss.
And then later they had one for Jon Stewart that was like a thimble.
Yeah, this is great. So AJ Styles comes back there. I wish they wouldn't have split these guys up. I love these guys together. I think that AJ is most comfortable around them. They teased some Finn Balor interaction. He kind of left them hanging. That made you wonder if anybody would get involved in that main event.
I mean, that was there for the super fans who know that history, because there's a lot of people watching who don't know that history of Finn Balor and the club, and that moment there where they all put up the too sweet, and he just smiles and walks away. That was for us, for the people who really know what the history is.
And that's very understated that a lot of people don't know, because you really don't understand until you go to it. But when you hear crowds like this and nobody's making a peep for people like Carmella and Alexa Bliss.
Right.
So we got a 5-minute and 45-second match. The Miz defeated Apollo Crews. I don't know why Apollo Crews is on the main roster. I don't know why. He could have used a lot of things in NXT, a persona change, some more time, character development, a personality, for the love of God. Something like that.
Yeah.
But he came up, and when he came up, everybody was like, damn, this is quick, but maybe they have plans for him. They didn't have shit for him. Not a plan. Nothing.
They threw him to the wolves and said, okay, kid, get over. But without, they didn't give him vignettes. They didn't give him like real story to tell. Like just be really athletic because we know you can handle that. And he did, but it wasn't enough because that isn't enough. You have to be able to tell a story. This match, he was really athletic, did some really cool stuff. It showed off his agility, his strength, looked great, but there was no story to be found. There was no reason to root for him because we don't know anything about him. Although it's kind of funny that JBL in every Apollo Crews match tells the same story of Apollo Crews' dad escaping poverty in Nigeria. It's like the exact same words that he uses over and over again. So it's that's obviously not getting over. So let's move on to something else.
That's JBL for you.
Yep.
Wait, did JBL call this match?
Yeah, they had the SmackDown crew.
This is on SmackDown. Sorry.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought, oh, God. Well, the good thing is we only get to listen to 2 hours of JBL weekly instead of 3.
That's true.
So that's a victory. And a lot of people wondered why they did the announce teams like that. And I know why they did the announce teams like that. They want a JBL with Morrow and David Otunga because he's been at the desk for a long time, and they want to mix those up. Michael Cole, he probably wanted Corey Graves because Corey Graves is his protege. He's the one who's coached Corey Graves, and Corey Graves may be the best color commentator in decades, best new color commentator. God, I can't remember one who would be better than him in decades. He's fantastic. He's really
great.
good.
The thing that I think is really fantastic when you really listen to the Raw commentary is that he will straight up just correct Michael Cole, and Michael Cole calls moves wrong, but does it really passive aggressively.
Yes.
So I wonder how long the honeymoon's going to last between those two, because sometimes he makes Cole look like a straight fool.
Well, the thing about Cole is, and he gets a bad rap because, he's not the greatest announcer in the world. Now, over the past couple of years, his game has stepped up tremendously. But the thing about Michael Cole is he brought Corey Graves in. He brought Mauro Ranallo in. He brought a guy who is widely considered the best MMA play-by-play guy, the best kickboxing play-by-play guy, and one of the top boxing play-by-play guys. Oh, yeah, he was also considered by many the best wrestling play-by-play guy for his New Japan work. And he was like, WWE, we got to sign this guy. Let him do whatever else he needs to do. His Inside MMA gig on Friday, his Showtime boxing gig, his Glory gig, anything like that. Let him do whatever he wants. We got to have him. That was Michael Cole, knowing that this is a guy who many people would be calling for to take his job. That says a lot about Michael Cole to me. There are a lot of things that say a lot about Michael Cole to me too. I mean, he's adopted several children. He's, by all means, he seems like a good dude. He was Corey Graves' protege, brought him up, put him on, he's on Raw. But I mean, of course, they want Corey Graves on there with somebody experienced as well. And he's been really good. David Otunga is not the best color commentator, but I'll say he's already better than Byron Saxton.
Well, that's a low bar to clear. But yeah, he is. He is better than Byron Saxton.
They do weird stuff with Byron where they try to make him intentionally sound like a white guy. It's really weird. Like, I've noticed it, and it's a little bit insulting, honestly. Like, if they bring up something that has anything to do with black culture or anything like that, he will act ignorant to the subject on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird, and I've noticed it over and over again.
He's basically Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as the commentary guy.
They're making him. And that, I mean, I think it'd be, if they kind of highlighted that, but
yeah, if they went further with it, now it just seems like it's kind of weird. But if they made it his actual gimmick, that'd be fun.
They're like poking you in the ribs, like, hey, and I think that's weird, man. And they've done that with a lot of their announcers, really, except for Booker T. He's the only one, because you're not gonna tell him to do that because he's not gonna fucking do it.
Nope.
Pardon my French, guys, but that's probably what Booker T would say to WWE. By the way, he had some interesting comments regarding Conor McGregor. Our own Steve Muehlhausen had an exclusive on Fightful.com. He thinks he'd kick Conor McGregor's ass. I like Booker T a lot. I do. But I disagree. I really disagree. Especially when you can't do a spinneroonie anymore.
The pervasive, he's the size of my leg or the size of a child thing that it comes out of everybody in WWE just makes me so furious. You're trying to put over a cruiserweight
division
where there are guys who are wrestling at 155 and wrestling really well, mind you. And you can't bury Conor McGregor because he's small and also try and put over the Career Classic. It's not. We'll get to it.
We are going to talk about this we're going to talk about this at length later on. Like, I've got a lot to say about that. I really do. So where are we on the show now? Oh, John Cena versus AJ Styles. That's where we are on the show. This was a gift and a curse because the show didn't recover after this. This should have probably went on next to last, I would say.
Me too.
Yeah, probably because if given the way that Lesnar Orton ended, it was probably I guess. No, this probably should have just went on last. And people would have been cool with it given what they got out of it. This match was unbelievable. One of the best matches I've seen all year. One of the best matches I've seen in recent memory. Styles put him over clean as a sheet. There has been no iffy, Styles wins, but then Cena wins 3 times. Cena beat him in a 6-man tag, completely understandable. AJ Styles gets a dirty win and a clean win over John Cena, who may be gone for a little while, but this is big. AJ Styles is a big star in the WWE.
Yeah, huge star. And that's the thing, is that I know that he's wrestling heel, but when he won that match, like the crowd erupted, like the entire crowd, like they knew what an amazing moment it was for him and for WWE and everything. Just, I mean, he beat Cena clean as a sheet, straight out the dryer in the middle of the ring. Like, it's like, that was amazing to me. There was nothing, no screwy finish, no ref bump that led to a missed pinfall by Cena, like none of that. Like there were near fall after near fall after near fall, counter after counter after counter. It's one of the best matches I can remember seeing from anybody, especially Cena. You know, he had this great little run last year with the U.S. title open challenge. But like this was him saying, I'm going to leave it all out on the field. He left a never give up sweatband in the middle of the ring when he left. Like this felt like something important the whole way through. And then Cena said, yeah, it was. Here's this thing that I'm doing as a gesture of something.
Cena hit a code red, and I still have people complaining that he only does 5 moves. You all got to get off that soapbox because you're wrong.
He did this weird stunner thing out of an Oklahoma Slam position that looked great. I'd never seen it before. He does some really cool stuff now that he's learning and pulling out, where I think he used to rely on a lot of stuff. And I still hate the 5-knuckle shuffle. I'm always going to hate the 5-knuckle shuffle because, that's just me. But
it's a stupid-ass move.
It is a stupid-ass move. But there's other things that he does that is great, and you have to respect when he does the really great stuff. But Styles is stratospherically over with everybody again, like he was after the Roman Reigns matches. And I just hope they don't like have him come out on SmackDown and just be a super shit heel.
Styles is so good that he took a move that was like 5th on his depth chart after like the Styles Clash, the Springboard 450, the spiral tap when he would bust that out on rare occasion. And I know the calf crusher. He took the phenomenal forearm and he made it one of the best looking finishes in pro wrestling. That guy has been amazing. They busted out everything. And you'll have a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are on the, how many finishers, blah, 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 blah. I've said this a million times, guys. Not every Conor McGregor straight is going to end a fight. Not every Mirko Cro Cop head kick is going to end a fight. This is SummerSlam. This is one of the biggest shows of the year, two of the biggest players in the game. The reason that they're considered big players in the game, the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, the LeBron Jameses, the Steph Currys, is because they have a clutch factor. They should be able to do that. They're good, and they are where they are because they're able to do that. If I saw Heath Slater and Darren Young doing that, then yeah, I got a problem. I don't have as much of a problem when it's being portrayed as John Cena and AJ Styles are fighting over who is going to be the face that runs the place, kicking out of finishes, and finding it within themselves to do it, especially when one guy's frigging gimmick is that he never gives up.
Yeah. So
I'm cool with that. This match was unbelievable. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was by far the match of the night for me. The match of, it was, I can't even, when I think of the Royal Rumble, when AJ showed up and everyone went nuts in Orlando, and I was thinking, as that was going on, like, what are they going to do with him? How far are they going to let him go? I never dreamed that by August he'd be pinning John Cena in the middle of the ring, clean. It's amazing to me that they've let him come this far. I love it. I love every second of it because he is, he's phenomenal.
We had a Jon Stewart segment where he basically joined the New Day. This was kind of lame. Whatever. New Day versus Gallows and Anderson. Kofi, as you mentioned, did a Marshawn Lynch tope onto Gallows.
That was great.
That was cool. That was awesome.
That was as awesome. They say, too sweet.
It was. That was incredible. I really liked that. Jon Stewart interferes, and he was actually kind of funny, holding onto the ropes and tucking in his shirt so he wouldn't get exposed and all that stuff. Then he's about to get ring posted, and Big E runs in and beats the living shit out of Gallows and Anderson.
Yep.
Now, the club won by DQ. I like this for one reason. The New Day's tag team title reign will officially cross the 1-year mark, and they deserve it. Yes. Really, those guys deserve to have the all-time record. Somebody needs to remind Michael Cole that the Valiant Brothers existed, though, because it's them and Demolition that have longer tag title reigns, I believe. And I don't know if with the depth that Raw has in their tag division now, with the club, with Jericho, with Enzo and Cass, even the Dudley Boys, I don't know that they'll hold on to the titles that much longer. But here's the part that pisses me off a little bit. Primetime players did not need that run in 2015.
No, they did
if
not.
That were the case, I think New Day would be there or be like right near it. Now, they will pass the Valiant Brothers this week and be second all time. Demolition has held their titles for 478 days. So it'd take another about 3.5 months. Do you see them being able to hold the titles until December?
If they were on SmackDown, hell yeah. But
yeah.
They have too much competition. I mean they're not going to let the Dudley Boys sniff it, but and I think Enzo and Cass are going to get it sooner rather than later, but they're not going to take it from the Dudleys. They're gonna take it from a transitional champion, somebody else. Or they're not gonna take it from a New Day, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, I think they could. I want to see when they lose it, that they lose it in a real way. I don't want it to be in a fatal 4-way where they're not the ones that get pinned. I want them to not to be like I want it to be given over to somebody who really is going to deserve it. But you know what? I wouldn't mind seeing them hold this thing all the way until like Royal Rumble time, which would put them over the mark. That would be great.
Also, Demolition is on WWE's shit list, as they say, because they are suing WWE. So they were involved in a lawsuit.
Then Reign record confirmed, I think, in that case.
Yeah.
They did not. That's why I think that's pretty much why AJ Lee got knocked off in the longest Divas title reign. So they're not shy about taking the people in the doghouse and really beating them.
So that good for New Day. They get that at least. What's next? Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler. I didn't like this match. If this were on a SmackDown, it probably would have been okay. But also, my WWE Network kept screwing up during this. Dean Ambrose wins. Any particular thoughts about this match?
I was so disappointed in this match. Like, I mean, in every way, basically imaginable. Because the promos that these guys have had together for the past few weeks since Dolph became #1 contender have been straight a fire. And this match was duty. It was terrible.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it. Like the crowd didn't seem to understand what was going on. Like, I guess they seem to be like, oh, I guess Dean is heel now, but of course he's not. But he was wrestling heel in the match. He was doing all the taunting and stuff, and I have no problem with Dean being heel. You just got to make him do it, as opposed to like kind of teasing it a little bit. And he just seemed to be kind of sleepwalking through some of it. And there wasn't. I wanted there to be something more to it. Like this is still the most important title in the company, and it felt like it was like, if you want to rank the matches on the card, it was like somewhere in the middle, 6th or 7th. It didn't feel important while you were watching it, and it was also not a great match. Like,
after all those good promos and all that steal the show talk and all that, this is what's going to change Dolph Ziggler talk, it didn't deliver. Dean Ambrose didn't look good. Dolph Ziggler didn't look good. The title didn't look good. And this is the title because Dean Ambrose beat everybody else and brought the title. I thought that was a bummer. Dolph Ziggler needs a ripple. I hope this is what causes the ripple. Maybe this is what sends him down that sour, bitter path. He needs something. He needs to be Jesus. It's just
the other thing. Here's what I had assumed was going to happen, and what I would have loved to see. I wanted it to be Bray coming in and just disqualifying the whole match, like attacking both guys, and then at the very first SmackDown only pay-per-view, you have a triple threat for the title, where the top 3 guys who aren't Cena and Styles are in that match doing that, and you could really build your first SmackDown only pay-per-view from this thing that's happening here. The fact that it's kind of just Dean wins clean, LOL, is not what I was hoping for. The fact that Bray never showed up at all was kind of weird. I thought he was going to either
forgot about that.
Match. Yeah, either going to affect this match, or everyone was saying he was going to have a program with Orton going forward. I thought he was going to affect the last match, but no, nothing.
I don't know if Orton's going to have a program with anybody for a while. So, funny comment at the beginning. Not funny, pretty friggin' stupid comment at the beginning of this. Mauro Ranallo, who is a great MMA announcer, made a comparison to Conor McGregor. And JBL made the comment, yeah, but the difference is Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler are the size of normal humans. I don't know in what world a 170-pound man is not a normal-sized human, but that's weird, first off. Second off, like we mentioned earlier, they have a cruiserweight division coming up, and they are shitting all over it before it even happens. Now, that's not even it. We got more to get to. By the way, JBL, the 6 pay-per-views that he headlined as WWE champion did not draw as much as UFC 196, which was headlined by the not adult-sized Conor McGregor.
Yeah, children. The children in the ring beating the crap out of each other and trending worldwide. Yeah, I don't understand the point of it. I mean, it'd be one thing if you said you're not allowed to wrestle in WWE unless you're at least 200 pounds or something. I mean, that's a terrible rule, but if that was the thing, then okay, fine. Sure. You're too small to wrestle us, so get out. But you're not, because they have guys who are under. Neville is 194. You know what I mean? Like, he's
billed as 194.
Billed as 194. Like, so it's, they have the guys, like I said, half of your CWC is like 170-ish or less, So like you have to be able to understand that if you're going to promo that and also this cruiserweight division that is somehow going to come to Raw, there's a lot of speculation that it might be a bunch of these guys from the Cruiserweight Classic who split time between NXT and Raw once they're signed. I mean, one of the biggest fan favorites in the entire CWC is Jack Gallagher, who was billed at like 155.
Yeah,
and he's
people
great.
love him.
So
he is great. He's a better vaudevillain than the vaudevillains are.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Also, he's a legitimate ass kicker.
Yeah,
he fights MMA.
Yeah, and he's
a child size.
He's a child.
Somebody says, got to think JBL's 280 pounds now, 330 in his days. He's literally twice as big as Connor. He's going to rub the size in the guy's face. JBL got blasted in the face by one Joey Styles. So, also, as Vince Russo reminded me, the Brawl for All happened. We saw what Bradshaw was made of.
Yeah.
So there you go. And he was not a good fighter. He was not. Conor McGregor would tap out JBL in probably, if he didn't knock him out, he would tap him out in probably less than a minute. Dean Ambrose won this match. Anyway, on to the most important thing of the show. Becky Lynch, Naomi, and Carmella against Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Eva Marie. Eva Marie suspended, but they still did her entrance. Said that she is vacationing in the British Isles because of anxiety and stress due to negative reactions from the WWE fans. This is great. It's going to be great. They announced her replacement. She's back, you guys.
She's back.
Nikki Haru Bellasawa, the queen of strong style. Nikki Bella's back. Got a great positive reaction. I thought that she would attack one of the girls on her team, costing the match. We got to see that beautiful forearm of hers just drill somebody. I'm not even joking. I'm not being sarcastic, guys. The Nikki Bella forearm is one of my top 10 favorite moves in wrestling. I love it. It's great. Talk about it, Alex. Tell me how great it is.
Well, the forearm is fantastic, and I really loved that. I loved that that she came out and just she looked like her old self. Like she was doing the push-ups in the middle of the ring. You know, I like her new finisher, which starts as the rack attack, but then is transitioned into something else, which is much better for her neck.
Well, she doesn't have it up in a rack per se, but she is in a fireman's carry.
Right, exactly. It starts out in a similar fashion. So so that's good. I love that obviously she was there to get the pin, and Carmella was there to take the pin and the forearm in the face. What I would say is also it really bugs me that these two girls, Carmella and Alexa Bliss, who are so over in NXT, are brought up and abandoned on the main roster.
They had Carmella cutting these weird phone sex operator lines. I'm ready to go. All this shit. Stop it.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss looked absolutely ready a couple months ago in NXT. I was like, man, she improved at such a quick rate. I was ready for her to be on the main roster. She had taken the Emma advice and just really embraced her inner aggression. They don't give any background on these people, and they assume that we know who they are, or they assume that everybody knows who they are, or we do know who they are. And it's really disheartening when you see them not get a reaction, especially in front of a crowd like this in New York, who probably does know who they are. They just didn't care.
Right. Well, the other thing was it happened the same week that they were featured in a big 6-woman tag match on NXT, where they were putting over the new girls in NXT, and they were treated as like conquering heroes coming back. They were super over in NXT. Everyone loves them. Everyone knows them, and they do the exact same stuff in Brooklyn, and that's a knowledgeable crowd, and they still don't care.
They gave Carmella Enzo's gimmick, a Diva Search failures alias, and Big Vito's finishing move name. There's very little original about her that they gave her. So she does it with the moonwalking and stuff like that, but they don't show anything.
Yeah.
They don't give any background. Maybe, damn, I feel lost without Enzo and Cass. I really got to prove this to myself. Anything, just a glimmer. Alexa Bliss, all she has to do is say, I was being held down in NXT, then I abandoned those two losers, and I am doing the best I've ever done, got drafted.
Right.
And I'm something special now, and really play it up. And they don't do it.
Well,
they don't do it.
with Eva Marie out. And by the way, they need to do that entrance at every single episode of SmackDown because the entrance is the most over thing in wrestling.
It's great. It's
great. It's so great. Tonight was fantastic. We all knew she wasn't coming out. We were just waiting for what the announcer was going to say. Suffering from anxiety.
Sure.
That was great. So now with Eva Marie out, it really appears that the top heel is Natalya, and the only other one they got is Alexa Bliss. I wouldn't mind seeing Alexa Bliss in a program with Becky Lynch.
Nikki, apparently.
Well,
which is so funny because they always tried to get her cheered when people wanted to boo her. Now people want to cheer her, and they're trying to get her booed. It's so weird. It's so weird.
I mean, have you heard? Is it official that she's coming to SmackDown?
I had heard weeks ago. I did a report on Fightful.com, an exclusive report, y'all, saying that Nikki Bella was coming to SmackDown. That's what I was told weeks ago.
Well, here's the thing. They can easily have her, because she was a heel basically when she left, hold down the fort for Eva while Eva's gone for a month, be a heel, and then have her turn face. She
might not necessarily be on TV soon because if John Cena's not there, she might not be. But I heard that was the reason she was being put on SmackDown, was because you can do that with Paige and Del Rio. You're not doing that to John Cena and Nikki Bella. That ain't happening.
Nope.
Guys, if this is your first time watching, visit Fightful.com. Go sign up there. You get exclusive early access to all of our podcasts, including the Vince Russo podcast on Thursday. I think we've got a really good formula. A lot of you all are like, we don't want to hear Russo whine about TV shows. You know what? I don't want to talk to Russo about TV shows either. So what me and Russo do is we shoot the shit on Thursdays. I'm just kidding. I like Vince Russo talking about TV shows because he lends some very good analysis. But Thursday shows are much more fun, much more laid back with myself and Vince. We talk about a little bit of everything. I do Wednesdays with Showdown Joe. A lot of good stuff there. If you're not an MMA fan or you're looking to get into MMA, that's a good place to start. Tuesday nights with Jeff Hawkins of Shake Them Ropes after SmackDown. Monday nights with Rob McCarron of Shake Them Ropes after Raw. Also, we do post-UFC pay-per-view shows, post-WWE shows. We do the post-WWE shows, hopefully moving forward with Alex Pawlowski. I like that we have the guy who covers these on here. I think that lends a little credibility. If there's something that I happen to have missed, we have the guy who actually covered the show here. But we have exclusive backstage news, all kinds of stuff on Fightful.com. It's a new site, but we are a full site. I mean, we got forums up that are members only. We have a video section that is constantly updated. Boxing, MMA, wrestling. If you don't like either of the three, you can filter them out on the main page. News updates all day long. I'm talking, it used to be 24 or so news updates a day. Now it's more like 3 or 4 dozen a day. So definitely check out Fightful.com. Register. That's very important to us that you register. That is a huge gauge of our success. Also share it on Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, anywhere you can. Let people know about it. We're still very, very new. So Eva Marie is suspended, Alex.
Yeah.
So explain to me why she is on this show working as the WWE Universal Championship.
That thing is so ugly.
As I tweeted, the WWE World Frosted Pop-Tart Championship was up for grabs in this match. This is the ugliest man. The women's title may be the prettiest world title on the show. Imagine me telling you that 8 months ago.
Well, if the rumors that we've heard are true, they're going to replace whatever the world title is and make it look blue.
Oh, Jesus.
Like that's I don't want that. I mean, nobody wants.
This is like Eiffel 65's dream.
Yeah.
Remember that shitty song?
I'm blue, da boo dee abu da.
Yeah, this is gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. This title,
bad news.
Looks like it's covered in cold sores.
It looks like they made it out of Shinsuke Nakamura's old jacket or something. Like it's just.
It looks like if you put genital herpes under a microscope, it's probably what this title would look like.
Yeah.
It looks pretty bad, guys. Like I don't
understand it. I
the
mean,
red strap.
At least, red is one of the primary colors of the guy who's holding the title right now. Like, can you imagine if it was somebody who red wasn't in any of their gear, but they come out with this bright red thing that it just doesn't fit. It doesn't. I don't understand it.
Okay. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor's entrance kicked ass. All this Conor McGregor stuff. All this, you're the size of my leg. You're all this stuff. Finn Balor weighs 178 pounds. He is billed as 190 pounds. Conor McGregor fought at 170 pounds this weekend. We got more to talk about Conor McGregor later as well, but there you go. All that talk, and you got a 178-pound guy holding the title, and I'm cool with it because I don't give a damn about size in pro wrestling. Because you know what? I didn't give a shit how big Walter White was when he was running an entire state and intimidating people. I didn't care about that. You didn't hear people saying, oh, man, a guy with a cancer cough can't run New Mexico's meth ring. Yeah, whatever. Somebody says, give up on the McGregor shit. You give up on the McGregor shit, buddy. I'll give up on the McGregor shit when WWE gives up on the McGregor shit. How about that? Give up.
We wouldn't be talking about it if they hadn't brought it up.
Sure, absolutely. I think the front drop kick count in this match was about 3,422. There were a lot of them. Fun match, though. Seth Rollins is very, 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 very good. Finn Balor, I don't think is on Seth Rollins' level, but I think he's like a notch below it. I still think Finn Balor really needs to switch some things up in the ring. Kick, stomp, drop kick gets really, really, really old to me after a while. It gets really old. It's been old to me for a long time. But I am absolutely fine with Finn Balor being champion. If I remember correctly, this is the quickest that anybody on the main roster has won a world championship after debuting. I had people say Paige and Gail Kim. Let's not pretend like those titles were put on the level as this. Now, if it were the women's title today, I would say sure, because it is portrayed as being equal. It's got the same belt and all that stuff. But this is, I think, is the quickest. Brock Lesnar did it in a few months, but this is a month and a half. Alex, what do you think of the match and the idea to put the title on Finn Balor?
Well, I feel like they had to put it on him. They brought all this fanfare to it. Somebody decided that he couldn't be just called the Demon because that's too close to Demon Kane, so they called him Demon King, which is even closer to Demon Kane.
It's way worse.
It's way worse. And then also, it's like it's the mantra that like when in doubt, just say Demon King. To just make sure you say that over and over and over and over again, so we get that in everybody's mind, because it's just too much. But you bring him out. Still say you should have brought him out as the Demon the very first time tonight. But you bring him out, you have him do it in Brooklyn, which is a really big crowd who knows who he is, who's doing the big movements to his entrance. The whole thing was that in NXT, when he was the Demon, he was undefeated until he lost that one time to Joe in the cage. And you could even say the only reason he lost was because it was in a cage, like it was a different kind of match. So to have him come out here as the Demon and then just lose, especially if he lost clean, would have been weird. Like, I feel like it's a really good way of like saying, okay, this is the new era. We're bringing in this guy who's going to be the face, and I feel that that the whole thing with his entrance and the face paint, like, he's going to be huge with kids. Like his action figure is going to like triple the sales of every other action figure.
Yes.
Like kids are going to go like this Halloween. Every place is going to have Finn Balor costumes for kids, and they're going to sell out because it's going to be huge for him.
Do you think he should be the Demon all the time?
No, I understand the argument, but I feel like the idea that I think kids understand and love the idea of this guy's a superhero. His alter ego, the guy who he is all the time, is Finn Balor. This guy who, especially if they give him some more vignettes, who just is a really nice guy who loves Legos and is just this really cool guy. But when he has to really face something that he thinks is going to be tough, he puts on this superhero costume. You know what I mean? It's Superman, taking off Clark Kent's suit, and underneath is that. Like, kids are going to go crazy for that. They're going to love that. I think the Demon is going to be this major deal that as he did in NXT, when he would bring it out just for the pay-per-views, there was always a new wrinkle to it. In London, he was Jack the Ripper. In Dallas, it was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There could be really cool things that he could do every time he brings out the Demon. Could have new wrinkles to it that everyone would be waiting and having to see that. I think the Demon thing is a really great way of differentiating him from every other guy on the roster, and also really getting eyeballs on the pay-per-views, because that's the only time you're going to get to see it.
That's an interesting take regarding kids and the superhero and stuff. Somebody asked me, do you think Balor winning is too soon? Hopefully it doesn't fall into the same category as Roman, where the fans turn on him. Here's a big difference. Daniel Bryan isn't wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
So you don't have that to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's the guy that they're keeping down in favor of Finn. I don't think
they're not keeping an AJ Styles down. Nope. He just beat John Cena.
That's true.
They're not keeping down Dean Ambrose. He's the world champion right now. Seth Rollins has already been there. He's been to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
They could give Nikki Bella the world title. That would be. Well, I would be in favor of that. Sure. Just let her run around forearm people, gauntlet style. Man, I want Nikki Bella versus zombies as a movie. Either way, that title belt is ugly. Rusev versus Roman Reigns didn't happen. They got into a big brawl. I don't know. They had a friggin' 6-hour show, but they did a 20-minute match on Raw, and this shit on the pay-per-view.
Like, isn't this what sets up the 20-minute match?
And
the other thing, here's the thing. If tomorrow night Roman comes out and is like, hey, man, I don't know, whatever.
Succotash.
No, this man's a horrible person. Just his character. From what I understand, Joe Anoa'i is a really nice guy, but Roman Reigns, the character, is a total shitbird, and I will root against him. And the thing, I hate Roman Reigns, not the wrestler. He's good in the ring. The character is a douche.
This is what I've talked about baby faces in WWE and their weird, antiquated thinking. Hulk Hogan used to eye gouge people.
Yeah.
And choke them with belts and shirts and shit.
Yep.
And it's like, today, what? He wouldn't get cheered for that. John Cena stole his best friend's girlfriend, Zack Ryder's girlfriend, and made out with her.
Yeah.
He cuckolded Zack Ryder. Not only that, he used Zack Ryder to get over with the crowd, to get cheers from the crowd, because they liked Ryder and not him. He completely shit on Zack Ryder. That's why I said a couple years ago I would have loved to see a mini stable with Ziggler, Miz, and Zack Ryder, just these guys who had their careers just shit on by John Cena.
Yeah. And
they never recovered, and this was their way of recovering, was teaming up and beating the living shit out of John Cena every week.
I guess the whole idea is that, Rusev started it before the bell, right? That's what they're going to say, is that if they're trying to justify it, that Rusev
started it. It's such a middle school thing.
Well, the whole thing, here's the deal. As the thing, when that happens, and then Reigns reverses the Irish whip, throws him over the barricade, and the timekeeper hits the Superman punch. I was like, fine, cool. This is a great way to start the match. They're going to get them both in the ring, hit the bell, and we're going to get a slobber knocker. It's going to be really, really good. No, they stopped the match. Rusev selling the ribs. 70 refs are out there forcing Reigns to the back, and he comes out again and hits the spear. This man's a psychopath. Put him in jail for assault.
Somebody said Roman. They said Roman is Anoa'i. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Main event time after Roman Reigns speared Rusev on the ramp. Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton. Randy Orton was sandbagging early on. These suplexes didn't matter.
Nope.
Didn't matter, not a bit. Some cool spots. Randy Orton hit an RKO out of nowhere on the table. Table didn't budge. Lesnar chucked him through, just chucked him through a table. Just dominated. 6, 7 suplexes, then a few RKOs. We had a nasty looking draping DDT. Gross looking.
Yeah.
Luckily, Brock Lesnar's neck, it doesn't matter. You can't knock him out cold. You can't break his neck. He literally fell face first to the ground from 10 feet in the air and lived. Not only lived, but didn't break his neck. Wrestled a few weeks later.
Yeah.
He got obliterated by Shane Carwin, Alistair Overeem, Cain Velasquez. Didn't go out cold, so this ain't putting him out. Mm. So we get this disgusting set of elbows from Brock Lesnar. Legit elbows. There is nothing worked about these elbows. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was supposed to happen. Like I said, I haven't had time to ask anybody. Orton got busted open big time. Now, a lot of people were upset about the finish of this. I would like this finish if it wasn't in the main event of SummerSlam. If it didn't go on last, I'd be fine with it. But it went on last. You ended SummerSlam with a non-finish after a match where you had a non-finish. Not to mention, earlier in the night, you had a non-finish in another title match, a tag title match. So you screw people out of 3 big matches, three title matches or marquee matches with non-finishes. And Brock Lesnar left Randy Orton in a pool of his own blood. He F5'd Shane McMahon afterwards. A lot of people are like, well, why didn't he do it to Daniel Bryan? Because you better believe that if Daniel Bryan can take that bump, he's wrestling.
Yeah.
Man, this was something. What? We'll skip to the end here because the match was fine. The match was pretty good. Yeah. I was okay with that. This ending, unusual. And there were Goldberg chants, and he had double knee surgery 6 weeks ago. I will say, you guys, the amount of money that Goldberg asks to do a match is unreasonable.
Yeah.
I could probably find out the amount because I heard it one time. But I would be very surprised if WWE could make back 80% of what he asked for and has asked for. Also, he doesn't want to put people over. He's 50 and he doesn't want to put people over. That's a big thing for him. He says, oh, if they want to do business the right way. Well, business the right way would be if you're in for one match, you don't win. Whether it's Ryback or Brock Lesnar, it doesn't matter. Right. Your thoughts on the finish of this match, Alex?
I think that I would have been much cooler with it had there been an actual match immediately prior to it. But with the way that Rusev and Reigns ended, this just felt like, oh, is that it? Which made me feel like maybe legit, like this guy needs like 14 stitches. We're stopping this. You know what I mean? As opposed to, oh, it was all work. You know what I mean? Like maybe he was, but whatever it was, like he looked bad and there was lots of blood. And then when Shane came down, I was like, oh, this is the thing that I wanted them to do a while ago. I want like the way to get your heat on Brock Lesnar, because everyone loves Brock Lesnar, but no one's more over than Shane O'Mac. Money, 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 money. Like, and so he comes out and F5, but that's not his boss. I mean, is it? Is it not? The way that Heyman reacted to it. What are you doing, Brock? Like Heyman was really upset about it. So it was a really, like you said, if this had gone on, earlier in the night, I think I would have loved it. But I mean, it's just Brock just beasting out on everybody, which is cool. But it ends it's just, oh, okay, well, I guess that's the end of the 6 hours I just watched. But if you had ended
way too long.
If you had ended with either AJ Styles and John Cena, which is the match of the night, huge, amazing thing, or if you had ended with Balor and Rollins, and it's the very first time anyone's put on that belt, you could drop the confetti. Like that's a way to go out too. But like, to have Reigns just, destroy Rusev and break his ribs and then break his ribs again, and then have Orton and Lesnar end this way just felt anticlimactic.
Sometimes the WWE tries to be unpredictable for the sake of being unpredictable. It's not always predictability. If something is good, predictable is not that bad. How many times have we seen NXT takeovers that just blow the world out of the water, and we say, man, WWE's going to step it up now. WWE's going to show that WWE's going to answer this. Well, they had Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. Very good Friday. Awesome ending. They had NXT TakeOver last night. Incredible show. Amazing show. UFC 202 last night. One of the best I can remember, period. All-time great fight in the main event that lived up to the hype. WWE came out, and with the exception of a couple of bright spots, laid a huge, stinky, fat turd after all this. And sometimes you'll see it, oh, NXT's the minor leagues, and this guy's the size of my leg. They came out here and they gave the people this. They gave a bunch of inconclusive finishes, underwhelming matches, a really weird bout order. They saw almost one of their fan favorites almost die in the ring, getting dropped on her head. They didn't get any solution to the end of them, and it's so just WWE. The Royal Rumble was like, I can't remember even the fact that I can't remember the Royal Rumble. What happened at the Royal Rumble? Triple H won. Okay, yeah. So that tells you enough about that. That was their first big show of the year. WrestleMania, thumbs down. Oof. Then you get SummerSlam. Okay, then. All right, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing on pay-per-view now. Because WWE had that reputation for a while of having TV you could miss, but pay-per-view you couldn't miss. Now it's all starting to be missable except for NXT TakeOver shows. This is not good. I don't like that. With the brand split, with the brand split, how's that? Is it going to get better? I don't know. I don't think so. Not if the rumors I've heard about possible wellness suspensions is true. Not if Randy Orton is lying in a pool of his own blood and John Cena is taking a break. Not if Brock Lesnar's not going to be back until January. Not if and Eva Marie are sitting on the sidelines. Not like either one of them are a giant difference maker, but the depth is important when you get these rosters split in half. Alex, are you fearing for your life is what I want to know, because you got to cover this stuff.
Yeah. The thing that before I get into the future, the fact that Battleground was just a month ago and we loved it so much because it was such a great show overall. And now you go from the Battleground, which is, a B show, nobody should care, but then we have, the end of this thing kind of just, it's inconclusive. And not only that, this is a one-shot match, right? I mean, they're on different brands. Brock attacks a guy who's not his boss. It's not the same kind of thing, So I don't know. I mean, I'm all for the brand specific pay-per-views if they're each 2 hours long with one match on the pre-show and that's it, because you can't. I mean, there's no way that SmackDown can fill a 3-hour card. It's not possible. I mean, unless you're putting I don't know. I don't even know who you would put into an hour-long Iron Man match. Pick two. I don't know who they would be, but it's like AJ Styles and I don't know, Bray Wyatt in an Iron Man match.
Well, it would be AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, but they're on different brands.
Right, exactly. So
I will say this for being progressive in the WWE, the women got some of the best reactions on the show, and men got put in the death spot on the card. So we're getting some progression here. Yeah. Alex, any final thoughts about this SummerSlam pay-per-view and what we got going forward?
One of the things that we didn't mention that was on the kickoff show, because it wasn't a match, was a fantastic promo from Baron Corbin, who just walked into the kickoff show set, grabbed a mic and said, "I was supposed to have a match with Kalisto, but he's just a big wussy and he stayed home." Like, he's furthering this thing. And he said, because he decided that he doesn't want to have a match with me tonight, he's costing me money. And I'm it's a great way of still getting that guy somewhere on the card somewhere to keep that story going. And I love the idea that they're still playing with that whole, matches mean money thing. Wins mean money.
They need to do that more. They need to do that more, because the whole idea is that these guys are fighting for money. And if you win, you're supposed to get double the money than if you lose. But the issue is WWE likes to portray all of their superstars as celebrities and as larger than life. They don't want to make it look like these guys are fighting for their livelihood when in reality, MMA fighters sometimes are. So I like that. I think that Baron Corbin would be able to better increase his money as a fictional prize fighter if he used some of the great supplements from On It. That's what he needs to do. He needs to go buy one of those kettlebells that looks like a gorilla is going to gnaw your ass off. That's what I would do. Go to On It. Go to our podcast page at Fightful.com. Click that link. Open up any podcast page and click that On It link. Go there. Check out their great supplements. Alpha Brain, which helps me work these 70-hour weeks. Shroom Tech, which gives me energy to still work out after all that. New Mood, which helps my sleep cycle and improves my general mood when I got to deal with people telling me to drop the Conor McGregor issues. Go to hell. Thankfully, I've got On It to keep me from saying worse things than that. So go there, click that link, support us. Also, they have some great apparel there. I love On It's gear, all kinds of great stuff. Also, go to draftbeast.com. Check that out as well. Also, guys, sign up for Fightful.com. Very important to us that you do that. Share the YouTube page, thumbs up the video, subscribe, bookmark, all that good stuff. We are constantly updating Fightful.com. We're working to become the best MMA, wrestling, and boxing sites individually, not even collectively, just individually. We want to become the best of each of those. Alex, my friend, it's been real. You have Raw tomorrow night. What are you looking forward to out of that?
I mean, it's the Raw after SummerSlam, right? So that's usually a really big show. It's in the same arena as it was tonight. So I don't know if there's any rumors of big returns and stuff like last year. We got the Dudley Boys coming back. That was a major deal. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do to follow this. I'm looking forward to booing the ever-loving crap out of Roman Reigns no matter what he does, because how dare you do that to poor Rusev? Because Rusev is my jam. And I want to see where they're going from this. I want to see, Balor coming out for the first time as the champ. Where do you go with all of these guys? That's I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing which jobber Braun Strowman squashes tomorrow. So, and then also, so come back to Fightful for my live coverage. And then on Tuesday afternoon, I will publish my uncooked Raw reaction to all the happenings on Raw tomorrow night.
Yeah, join our live viewing party for those things, guys. There will be a little shuffling of the podcast schedule next weekend. I'll be working at Absolute Action MMA doing color commentary on the campus of Northern Kentucky University at the BB&T Arena. If you are in the Northern Kentucky area, come by, say hi to me. If you say hi and you tell me that you saw me on Fightful.com and the Fightful podcast, I will buy you one of those disgusting overpriced hot dogs out of my pay for the night. So there is that. It's not all going to be gloomy because I'm missing this Saturday podcast. Me and Joe will probably do a podcast on the UFC on Fox show Sunday, hopefully. He's a busy guy. But we are bringing you some sort of post-fight coverage. As always, guys, I am back tomorrow night for Raw, or after Raw, with Rob McCarron of Shake Them Ropes. Thank you, as always, for the support. We wanted to give you a couple of big, super-sized episodes. We have a 2-hour episode from last night. If you all haven't checked it out, go to our YouTube page. Go to our podcast page, rather, on Fightful.com, Fightful.com/podcast. We did an hour on UFC 202. We did an hour on NXT TakeOver. All kinds of great stuff there. Also, we talked a little Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor. And then over an hour tonight. So this is probably the busiest podcast weekend we may have in months. But Alex, I got to say, you're pretty damn good at the podcasting thing.
I appreciate that. Coming from the man who is, the man, the myth, the legend, Sean Ross Sapp.
Oh, shucks. Guys, Fightful.com is the place to be. Thank you all so much. Join our Raw live viewing party tomorrow. Tell everybody about the site. I don't care who it is. If your grandma's in a nursing home, pull her out of there. Or even better yet, buy her a laptop. Buy her one of those little Wi-Fi mobile spots. Take it there. But make sure that her landing page is Fightful.com. Like, when you open it up. Fightful.com. That's what we want. Until tomorrow night, we are out.